this is a Solinco WhiteOut 305, right? And so I've strung it up with 16 gauge Hyper G at 47, 48 pounds, I think. So mine came in right at spec at 305 grams, 8-point headlight, and a swing weight of 288. I did add the dampener and the overgrip, and so that, along with the 16 gauge Hyper G, brought the strung specs to 329 grams, 32.5 on the balance, and a swing weight of 322. So, a bit about me. I would say I'm a high 3.5, maybe very close to 4.0 or low 4.0. I've been playing since I was probably 10, but a lot of that was just kind of hitting around and no type of training or no type of lessons or anything. And I've done stuff wrong my whole life, so I really didn't start playing consistently until maybe the last 4 years or so, and YouTube has helped a lot in terms of showing me, I guess, what I've been doing wrong. My play style, I'm mainly a baseline counterpuncher style. The rackets, my current racket of choice actually is the Blade Pro. I know for somebody at my level, most people can say you can't swing that, but I have no issues swinging this thing. I did have to order like 10 of them to get to get a couple with a low swing weight so I can manage it. I think the last one I had before this had a swing weight of 349. These two are between 330 and 335. So I definitely had to invest a lot to get ones with specs that I could actually use. But that and the VCore 95 are mainly what I've been using for the last, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Both with NRG mains with a poly cross. So let's go over the whiteout real quick. So first off, it's a beautiful racket. I'm sure the blackout as well. I haven't seen the blackout yet. It's a gorgeous frame. Pretty much any string would probably go along with that white color. One thing that drives me crazy about this thing is white out, which is great. You're like, oh, white out, but whoa, why is this one upside down? So somebody like OCD tendencies like me, that thing drives me crazy. But so anyways, so this thing, I played it at the stock specs, and it was good, but it didn't blow me away. So I did decide to mess with it a little bit because I was getting good spin and okay depth with it, but not quite the amount of depth I wanted, and definitely not the plow through that I'm used to. So I added, I'm sure you can see it there, added some weight at 3 and 9. I think 1.5 grams total. 1.5 grams at 3, 1.5 grams at 9. And then I did counterweight that by putting the 5 gram butt cap on there. So speaking of the butt cap, Solinco has come out with this little butt cap thing that they do, weighted butt cap. So the stock butt cap that came on there, you pop it off, and then there's a 5 gram and a 10 gram weighted butt cap. So instead of putting weight underneath the butt cap like you normally have to do, or you normally have to either stick lead or putty or nails or however you want to add weight in there, it's much easier. Pop it off, pop it on, and then you change the specs. So that is a great idea by Solinco. So after I did that, this thing is amazing on ground strokes. It's not to the level of my Blade Pro, but like I said, nothing is. So taking the Blade Pro out of the equation, I think it gives me better plow through and depth and spin than I think any other racket I own and any other racket I've played with recently. I will say I tend to stay away from Babolat offerings just because there's stiffness and what they're known for creating arm issues. So I have not played with Babolat frames, but I played with almost a ton of other stuff, and this thing likes to plow through and just depth, and it just hits a mean heavy ball, nasty ball. After I added the weight. Serves, it's good on serves. Flat serve is good, above average. The slice serve, I think, is where it really stands out. Because this thing has some easy access to spin, so slice serve really you get spin on that. Volleys, I don't go to the net enough to comment on volleys. It's maneuverable enough. I mean, obviously mine's a little bit heavier, but it suits my game because I'm more back at the baseline. I'm not up at the net. If I am playing net, I would rather go with something, like the Black Ace Pro. If I'm going to be at the net a lot, playing double, something like that. But my singles game doesn't really lend me to being at the net. It's just not my style. So for me, I prefer the added weight. But the few times I have gone to the net with this thing, it's easy putaways. And then the stability, whether it's on volleys or ground strokes, I haven't had any stability issues with it. Arm issues, I generally don't tend to have arm issues anyways. Maybe certain frames I might get a slight twinge in my elbow if it's overly stiff, but nothing with this one. This one actually, I think it has a decent stiffness. I don't remember the RA on this, but when you hit it, it has a very solid, almost like it's difficult to explain. So this is foam filled, just like the Technofiber rackets are, but this one feels more solid. It's almost like, like if you close the door on a Ford, I don't know, for like an Escape, and you close the door, and then you compare that to closing the door on like a Lexus, whatever. It's just more of a solid like thud feel to it, and that's how this feels when hitting with it. Comfort. So obviously it's comfortable. Feel wise, it's in the middle. It's not overly muted, but it's also not super. I mean, it's not as crisp as some other things. I'd put it in the middle somewhere in there. But my overall thoughts on this thing, I went in not expecting anything. I mean, it's their first. I'm pretty sure it's their first try at putting out rackets. Maybe they put out something years and years ago, but their first recent try with this in the blackout. So for their first go, I was not expecting much at all, but I really do think they hit a home run. Yeah, I mean, I was going to demo this thing anyways, even if I wasn't selected for the playtest, but I think this definitely deserves a spot in my bag behind the Blade Pro. May even edge out the V-Core 95, simply because I prefer this grip shape over the Yonex grip shape. Gives me calluses sometimes, and it's a little difficult for me. I don't know if on the video, if you guys can, let me even them up so they're alongside each other. And actually, since I have the Wilson here as well, you guys can see, I'll put the Wilson on the other side so you guys can see all three grip shapes next to each other. I know some people on the forums like that type of stuff, so there you go. But yeah, the Yonex grip shape is a little more rounded, which doesn't suit me as well. I love the Wilson grip shape and the Dunlop grip shape, and yeah, so I prefer the Yonex grip. The Solinco grip shape over the Yonex. So even for something small like that, because it prevents me from getting as many calluses, this thing may win out, but I mean, I'm a holic and I have plenty of space in my bag, so maybe I'll keep all three for a while. I mean, obviously the blade stained here, so that's not going anywhere, but the other two, I'll keep both of them, and it'll sort itself out in the long run. Besides that, I did have a coaching session earlier today, so at the end of the coaching session, we hit some balls. I think for the first half of this, the part of the video that's attached here after this, I'm using the whiteout, and my coach is switching between a Zeus and then my Black Ace Pro, And then for the second half, he takes the whiteout. He's hitting with a whiteout, and I'm using the Black Ace Pro. And I think maybe for a few shots at the end, I'm for comparison purposes, I'm going with Old Faithful, the Blade Pro, just for comparison purposes. And like I said, I mean, the Solinco's not bad in comparison to it at all. But like I said, it's unfair to for me to compare anything to the Blade Pro.
Man, it's such a change concentrating on that offhand. Ooh.
Nice one. That ball's got a lot of plow through for you.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, I was lazy. Ah, I couldn't get it. Ah. You're really trying to make me run today, aren't you?
This racket is a little weird.
Yeah, you don't like that 62 RA on it, do you? Yeah.
Nice one.
I'm so worried about concentrating on that offhand, throwing my timing off. Good shot. Yeah. Ah, just like
Sorry. Just hit it.
Oh, is that the Black Ace now?
Yeah.
Oh, you switched. Oh, good shot. You like the Black Ace too, don't you?
Yep.
If you only knew the flex rating on that one.
No, there's no fluctuation here. Except for the fact I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to do that. Here you go. Oh, too much.
This one's better. Oh!
Nice shot.
This is gold.
Huh?
This is gold.
Yeah, that one's good too, isn't it?
I mean,
I'll try not to run after all those baskets, but you may not leave me a choice. Ah, little out.
I just got a hair early on it.
Ah, I was like,
This thing is gold.
yeah, that Solinco?
Oh,
You got too excited on that one.
I did. Sorry.
Ah. Ah, almost. Oh, that came across. Here you go. Oh, good shot. You know the one you haven't tried yet is the diadem.
No, I haven't tried that one yet. nice.
Yeah, this black ace hit some thick slices. Ah, too much.
Just a hair out.
Ah, too much.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll keep it shorter.
Oh my.
How are you feeling about the diadem?
Not bad so far.
I think it has good feel. Ah, I misshanked it. But it worked.
Come on.
Oh, nice.
Range, but this one still has good power and aim when I'm doing things right.
Yeah, that one I think just takes time to find that sweet spot.
Nice. That is so way to do that. That was fabulous.
You kind of caught me in the middle. I didn't really have much of a choice. A little long.